Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Neelambujasya Balkomalangam Ita Samarupita Vamabhagam Panav Maha Sayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations Lord Rama, whose complexion is like the blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Sri Ramcharitmanas by Goswami Tulsi Ji in Ayodhya Kand, and we are moving towards the verse number 282. Presently, the context is both parties have come to Rama's ashram, party from Ayodhya led by Bharata, and the party from Mithila Puri, Janakpuri, led by King Janaka. And their whole purpose is to take Rama back to Ayodhya and Rama to be coronated, and in his place let Bharata, Shatrugna stay in the forest. Even that's not their intention. Their intention is to just persuade Rama to go back. Now, in this setup, the queens of Janaka royalty, and especially Sunayana, who is the wife of King Janaka, they meet Kaushalya, Sumitra, and their interaction, and the news that King Dasharatha has passed away, and all other things that have happened, that has created a great distress. And that's what all those people are handling, how to, and especially departure of King Dasharatha. At this stage, Kaushalya Devi is explaining the need to turn the mind to spiritual plan of life. All the subtle details, the basic point to understand philosophically the role of bhakti, devotion, in a spiritual movement. Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna, they have been all married. They have come to Ayodhya. Now, generally, the idea is when people get married, the story ends. They live happily forever. Nothing wrong with that idea, but turn your attention to the deeper insight, how to live happily forever. You can't live happily forever if you are in a state of inertia. Live happily forever if you continue to practice integral yoga in your daily life. If you make every day lived with purpose and with a spiritual success, then you are living happily, hopping from one happiness to greater happiness. So that point is the deepest key to understand this situation. The Ramayana, having brought that wonderful status of all the marriages and things were all settled. But now suddenly, Ranga mein bhang, suddenly there is a disruption in that harmonious condition. I'm not going to details of that, we have already heard that. But that disruption has a purpose. If that had not happened, the purpose of Rama's incarnation will not be fulfilled. So keeping that in view, we continue with this story. Kaushalyaji is telling, when Sunayana expressed her distress over all the things that has happened, Kaushalya says, Kaushalya kah dosu na kahu, karam bibas dukha sukha chati lahu. Kaushalyaji plays a great role, is a sattvic mode of nature. Term Kaushalya comes from Kushal, which means skill. Kaushalye yodhishau patu. May the Devi Kaushalya bring a special blessing to our eyes. It's in Ram Raksha Stotra. May the darling of Kaushalya bring a special blessing to our eyes. What lies before your eyes? Understand, lots of lies. Kushal, allow your vision not to be duped by how things appear. And everything that you handle it with great skill. And that's the art of Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga, as it advances, your skill advances, becomes spontaneous. And it is a progressive movement. The ideal, you don't get it immediately, you have to have all the patience, all the faith, all the strength to move towards the ideal day by day. So Kaushalya said, nobody is at fault, because they were attributing fault to Brahma, the creator, who created a strange type of world. Sukh, dukh, pleasure, pain, labha, hani, gain and loss. Human life abounds with this experience. But all these are according to one's karma. Karma gati. How does the karma operate? That operation of karma is very subtle. Only Brahma, the creator, knows this, because he is the one who has designed fruit of karma. If you have good karmas, you will have pleasant result. Negative karma will give you unpleasant result. And this follows a law. Your soul trapped by karma doesn't have the insight that it is essentially Brahman, the Absolute. Always remember, your soul is like a reflected sun. A reflected sun going through lots of challenges. But essentially, Reflected sun is nothing but the sun. Sunward movement requires integration. Sunward movement means revelation of who am I. That requires integration of your personality. But if you don't have that integration, the world you live in is determined by karmic law. How you will be day by day or in future, how you have been in the past, present, and future. The law of causation all become effective. So the purpose of your life is to move away from karma gati, law of karma, to paramagati, move away to have the revelation of who am I. That's paramagati. The revelation, aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman. This is the philosophical insight behind this. And let's go through this story now. So Kaushalyaji says that nobody is at fault. All this pain and misery, gain and loss are designed by karmic law. Only Vidhata, Brahma, knows about the karma. And he is the giver of fruits. Isaraja isisa sabahi ke utpatti thiti laya vishavu ami ke devi moha bas sochiye badi vidhi prapanchu asa achala anadi. The divine hand is on everybody's head. That relates to the absolute reality behind the universe. God as Brahman, the absolute. Brahman is the ultimate goal. Even Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, they are under the umbrella of Brahman, the absolute. All that is there in this universe, Utpatti, Thiti, Laya, Vishahu, Amike, Utpatti, creation, Sthiti, sustenance, Laya, dissolution, all that's done by Brahma, as well as all that is nectarine in the world and all that is venomous. All these are supported by Brahman, the absolute. One point refers to bhava pratyaya. Another finger referring to pratyaya bhava. These are very subtle points and they will be brought again and again. You are dreaming. Now your problem is twofold. Changing the condition of your dream. If a dream is bringing negative things, you want this positive to happen. So that is called staying in the realm of pratyaya, bhava pratyaya, in the realm of projections. And that's the state of karmic bondage. Soul, conditioned by karma, has nowhere else to go but to wander in the world of bhava pratyaya, in the world of mental projections. Mental projections are vittis of your mind. Your mind is playing the role of having just like you have an iPad, and here is a real iPad. your brain and nervous system created by your mind. And according to your iPad, your experiences continue. Amazing experiences, high and low, adversity, prosperity, glorious attainment and degradable condition. All this happens in bhava pratyaya. So first goal is be comfortable. Whichever bhava pratyaya should be a good one. But how good? Must lead you to pratyaya bhava. Must lead you to a complete awakening from your dream. Not stay trapped in your dream, no matter how wonderful your dream. And that's the goal of life. And that's the movement towards Brahman, the Absolute. Changing your dream condition, you are focused on Brahma, the Creator. Waking up, you are focused on Brahman, the Absolute. But that Brahman is brought to your personality in your sadhana in different stages. First stage, Saguna Sakar. You allow your mind to be initiated into mantra. And then you choose your Ishta Devata, who is nothing but a channel to Brahman. So it can be Rama, Krishna, Devi, whomsoever. But in the beginning, Ishta Devata has two aspects. He is a form and all the divine attributes, qualities. If you advance, it becomes Saguna Nirakar. Your mind goes, advanced mind, sees God, not confined to the form. Because forms can be always changing. No two artists can make a picture exactly the same way. But the qualities behind the form, that's called. And then, so you have Saguna Sakar, Saguna Nirakar, and the third one is the Nirguna Nirakar. Even the qualities you are thinking about God, and they inspire you to come towards God. Even those qualities are not perfect. They are mental concepts. So actual meeting with God doesn't require those qualities. It requires the power of divine love. You are led to God by the pull of bhakti, devotional strength. Nirguna Nirakar. You are led to highest attainment through the lanes of silence, absolute stillness. No words used. So that's what Kaushalya is pointing to. O Devi, Kaushalya is saying to Sunayana, grief is based on moha. You are grieving over death of King Dasharatha. But you are not grieving for Dasharatha's soul. You are grieving because of your moha. Let me give it very in a simple way. It is normal from ordinary point of view to be afflicted by grief when some dear one has passed away. But that affliction should be treated in an intelligent way. First point you have to understand, you are not grieving for the soul. If the soul is in real misery, then of course, the good, near and dear ones, that is his duty to be deeply concerned. But soul is being led by God. And who could be a better support for God in this world? So far you have been helping the elderly patients, ready to depart in many ways. He worked hard. But when he departed, he is now being taken to bigger hospital in divine hand. I'm joking. He is much more secure in his movement. So, if you really love the person, love the soul, you should be relaxed. If at all, you will be praying that may the soul be enfolded by God's boundless love. And may that good news come into our heart, bringing blessings. So if life is lived in a profound way, then deaths and various adversities that come in life, they don't torture your mind. Rather, they enable your mind to become spiritually enriched. Each time the dark cloud moves away, the moon shines brighter. That type of insight has to develop. भूपति जी अब मरब उरानी, सोचिए सकी लकी निज हित हानि. Oh friend, this memory of King Dasharatha's life and death, that memories of King Dasharatha, they become the cause of our grief. But all this grief arises on the basis of selfishness, on the basis of the concept that you have lost something that was helping you, that you were supported by. So you are not grieving for the soul that is departed, or grieving for all the comfort, etc., that you had while the soul was alive. You are the loss of comfort and help that you received from the person. That is making you grieve. In fact, you are grieving for regarding your own self. How are you going to be happy without the support of a relative, a near and dear one? Anasuya, rather Sunayana, Janaka's wife, she said, Sunayana praised Kaushalya for her wisdom. Siyamatu kaha satya subani, sukriti avadhi avadhapati rani. Siyamatu, Anasuya said, rather Sunayana said that Kaushalya Devi's words are wise, based on wisdom. And why shouldn't it be so? She is the queen of King Dasharatha, who is the climax of virtuous souls. Lakhanu Ram siya jaun ban, bhal parinam na pochu, gahbari hiya kaha Kaushila, mohi Bharata kar sochu. Kaushalya said, with her heart filled with bitter, rather pain, if Rama, Lakshmana and Sita continue to stay in the forest, the result will not be bad, it will be good. This is perfectly true. But I have worries about Bharata from philosophical point of view. The role of Bhakti is the highlight in this context. In your spiritual progress, different yogas have entered your personality. But if Bhakti has not entered, then there is that skillful vision that wants to see things correctly. That vision is under concern. Kaushalya is concerned for Bharata. Isa prasad ashisha tumhari, sutta sutta badhu, deva saribari, Ram sapath mai kin na kau, so kari kahau sakhi sati bhau. By God's grace and your blessings, all my 4 sons and 4 daughters-in-laws, they are as pure as Ganges water. O friend, swearing by the name of Rama, let me state, bring out my heart, share my heart with you. Bharat sheel gun binay badai, bhayap bhagati bharosh bhalai. What's in the heart of Kaushalya that's being brought out? It's her concern for Bharata. Bharatshil, how gentle Bharata is. Gun, his virtuous qualities. Namrata, his humility. Badappan, his spiritual greatness. Bhaipan, his brotherly nature. His devotion. His goodness. All these qualities is abound in Bharata. Kaushalya says, describing all this, my intellect hesitates to describe all the qualities of Bharata. And it seems the very intellect of Saraswati Devi itself, the intellect itself of Saraswati Devi hesitates to give description of Bharata's glory. These are allegorical writings that even Saraswati cannot describe the glories of Bharata. What does it imply? Not to be taken literally, but any description of anyone's wisdom is always limited. You are a good person. Your goodness transcends. If your goodness is really good, then transcends description. Words can be used so many ways, but can we exactly portray the person's greatness in your words? So, keeping that in view, Saraswati, who is the inspirer of your writings, your words, in other words, the glory of devotion is indescribable. And that's what Bharata is the potential of that type of bhakti. Bharat Sila Gun Gunay Badai, that we have explained. Janau Sada Bharat Kuladipa, Bar Bar Mohi Kahu Mahisha. कसे जन कनक मणि पारिखि पाए, पुरुष परिकहि समय सुभाए. Kaushalya continues to glorify Bharata. Bharata is Kulka Deepak, is the lamp of the family. And even King Dasharatha used to tell me, Kaushalya is saying, the great qualities of Bharata, gold that doesn't lack its value, but in order to be recognized, you need an expert goldsmith. In the same way, Bharata is pure gold, but only those who are highly advanced that can recognize him. And as time passes by, the great people bring out their greatness in a spontaneous way. Anuchita aju kahab asamora, shoka saneha sayana pathora, suni sura sari samapavani bani, bhai saneha bikal sabarani. And all my statements are improper because I am overwhelmed by affection for Bharata. In other words, my statement about Bharata may be misunderstood. Hearing these words of Kaushalya, which were like pure like Ganges water, all queens who were listening, they became overwhelmed with divine love. Kaushalya kah dheer dhari, sunahu devi machileshi, ko vivek nidhi ballabhahi, tumahi sakai supadeshi. Kaushalya said, summoning up her inner strength, O Devi, Sunayana, you are the consort of King Janaka, Janaka who is embodiment of wisdom. So your statements are full of wisdom. Who can give you any other instruction? Rani Rai Sanavasarupai, Apni Bhati Kahab Samujai. O Queen, finding proper opportunity, tell King Janaka, Rakhi ahi lakanu, Bharata gavanahi ban, yon yah mat mane mahip man. If King Janaka agrees, let there be improvement in this state. What type of improvement? That let Rama, Sita continue in the forest, but Lakshmana should go back to Ayodhya. Like a change to make between Bharata and Lakshmana. Bharata to stay with Rama and Lakshmana to come back in the place of Bharata rule Ayodhya. This is kind of marketing, which will not happen, but all this got sankalpa vikalpa. To phal bhala jatanu karab suvichari, more sochu bharat kar bhari. May King Janaka think over my advice, because I am deeply concerned for Bharata. So Kaushalya, in this setup of things, were more concerned for Bharata's aspiration, and that can give you subtle idea of the role of Bhakti. गूढ़ स्नेह भरत मन माही, रहे नीक मोई लागत नाही. The mind of Bharata is filled with profound love for Rama, and therefore he is staying in Ayodhya may bring out some negative predicament. In other words, Kaushalya is suggesting that Bharata may lose his life if that transfer is not made. If Bharata is not put nearer, close to Rama, Bharata will lose his life. Lakhi subhau suni saral subani, sab bhai magan karun ras rani. Seeing Kaushalya's gracious nature and listening to her simple but very wisdom-based words, all queens who were listening, they became overwhelmed with compassion. And Nabha prasuna jhari dhanya dhanya sunduni, shithila sane siddha yogi muni. And there was a torrential rain of flower from heavenly world, Pushpa Varsha. Flowers were rained down in torrential, along with the sound of Dhanya Dhanya, Dhanyavad. That was the thanksgiving. And Siddhas, yogis, sages, they all were thrilled to understand what they are leading you. This is the glory of satsanga. And glory of doing any good deed. When you have a good idea in your heart and you are going to do it, a little breeze blows into your mind. Because Suman, mind becomes joyous. Where does the joy comes from? As if gods have showered flowers. You are linked to the whole universe always. And all channels are there in the universe that can bring you joy as well as misery. But when you are moving towards Godward movement, the channels that bring joyousness come from all over the universe begin to open up and flow towards your personality. Put it more in a simple way, the blessings of gods, as if gods are praising you. But not only gods in heaven, but all sages and saints, even if they are their bodies are still in different places in the world, their heart is with the divine. So, their will is being fulfilled by anything that happens in a profound way, in a joyous way. Put it in a very simple way, good deed is praised in universal fashion. You are doing good to anybody. Thereby you are opening the door to Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. May all be happy. All those who are interested in that type of goodwill, you are receiving blessings from all of them. This is a very profound level. But progressively, you move towards that profound level through satsanga. And satsanga again doesn't mean literally to come into a group. Any good deed you do is opening the door to satsanga. बेगी पाऊ धारिये थलहि कह सनेह सति भाए हमरे तो अब ईस गति कै मिथिलेश सहाय. And Kaushalya said, may all of you go to your place, and we are dependent on God's will, and accordingly let King Janaka bring out that fulfillment of our cherished wish that Bharata should not be afflicted. He must have his fulfillment. Lakhi saneha suni bachan vinita, Janaka priyagah paye punita. Seeing Kaushalya's love and hearing her gracious words, Sunayana, the wife of King Janaka, held her feet with great love and said, O Devi, you are the queen of King Dasharatha, mother of Rama. Such graciousness coming from you, it's perfectly normal. Prabhu apne neechahu aadarahi, agini dhum gir sirat tanudharahi. Those who are at gloriously high state, to put it in a very simple say, God and godly people, they give respect to those who are in a low stages. And there lies the greatness of the great. The greatness of the great doesn't lie in holding the people who are low in a degraded manner. And the illustration is given, fire. It's a great personality, fire. But it holds smoke. Smoke is low grade. Giri sir tanu dharahi. Mountain holds on its head little grass, straws. Great men don't lose their greatness by supporting those who are in lesser condition. Sevaku rau karma manabani, sada sahaya maheshu bhavani. And rather, Sunayana is saying that our king, referring to King Dasharatha, is your servant by thought, word, and deed. And of course, the great Sahayak, great support that you have is Lord Shiva and Parvati. And we will continue. Om. Om. Ram, 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 Ram. Ram, Ram, Ram. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras, grace of God over all, and the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti, and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmuva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukh Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.